Hello, this is TelecomTV. I'm Martin Warwick and I'm talking with an old friend, Sanjay Bhatia, Vice President, Solutions Marketing and Strategy at Genband. Sanjay, good to see you again.
Thank you, Martin.
Thanks for dropping in.
Thank you.
We're here in San Francisco on this particular occasion, so it's nice and sunny out there, but you wouldn't know it from here. Anyway, nonetheless, let's start by talking about Intel network builders. One of the things that we're seeing happening deeply across NFV, cloud, network transformation, SDN, etc., is the notion of collaboration between companies that in the past would have probably been not the best of friends, shall we say. And that seems to be pervasive across the whole of the network virtualization arena. How do you get on with Intel network builders, and what benefits does it bring to both parties?
Certainly, Martin. Good to see you. So, yeah, Genband as a provider of software-based real-time communications applications, we are inherently dependent on ecosystem vendors to create differentiated end-to-end NFV solutions. And Intel Network Builders is an ecosystem program that is a very large ecosystem program and important to all the vendor community that allows us to collaborate and create new and differentiated NFV solutions and bring them to market. So that's really what Network Builders is all about, and it really helps us work together with a lot of different ecosystem members.
You made a recent announcement about your collaboration working with Wind River. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so what we're doing with Wind River is we're bringing to market what we call carrier-grade NFV solutions. And what that means is creating very highly reliable and redundant solutions for real-time communication services that the service providers are known for. And so they're doing that today through their in-network functions, and what we're working with Wind River on and have integrated some solutions is bringing that concept into the NFV cloud. And so Wind River provides the carrier-grade network infrastructure, and Genband provides the carrier-grade applications, and together we create an end-to-end carrier-grade NFV solution.
We're 2 years and a bit more into the emergence, the remarkably rapid emergence of NFV. It's gone off like a Saturn V rocket. You've been following it and been involved with it from the start. What's your take on the state of the reality of NFV right now?
Well, it's certainly, as you said, it's grown over the last couple of years tremendously, almost exponentially, and it's moved from the proof of concept phase, and you're already seeing a number of trials underway, and so the service providers are very, very heavily investing their time, resources, and in fact, some of them are changing organizations to enable the deployment of NFV and SDN solutions for differentiated services. And you see the early versions of that coming out for slices of their network as you speak.
One of the among the challenges that remain, and we accept that NFV is going great guns and it's charging ahead, but there are challenges remaining, and I've spoken to several people, as you'd imagine, over the course of NFV's emergence about the challenges, and they seem to centre around two main things. Tell me whether you agree or disagree with this. But one is the ecosystem itself. There are indications that in some places the ecosystem is really rather fragmented. It's not fully joined up. And also the major question of security. How important are those two?
Extremely important. Security is very, very important. Service providers are known for the level of quality of service that they provide and for the service level agreements and security aspects, right? And so security is a fundamental underpinning and a fundamental requirement. Every other day in the news you heard about security breaches. So the service providers are very, very sensitive to that, and of course the end subscriber expects a level of security from the service. So security is a non-negotiable thing, and we're working very closely with our partners, and in fact have applications that actually do a level of security in there. With respect to ecosystems, there is some level of fragmentation, but we're not seeing that kind of a challenge. More the challenge is how do you take there's only so many greenfield deployments going on in the world. So then the question is, do you take a portion of your network services and just offer point solutions, or do you take existing functions and how do you migrate them gracefully to the NFV cloud? And that's where Genband has some great solutions on enabling hybrid deployments and the seamless migration from the network to the cloud.
How do you see that progressing?
It's actually progressing very well. It's not only, a lot of people get wrapped around the technology aspects of NFV, which of course enables the elasticity, programmability, automation. But just as important are the commercial models and the mindsets. And so Genband is also addressing those aspects in making it easy to prevent stranded investments in terms of service providers. So if they do invest in network capabilities, they're guaranteed that some of those value propositions carry over into the NFV cloud.
What about standards and regulation? And I'm asking this particularly from this slant. What we're seeing with the telecommunications environment is the wholesale transfer of IT values and expectations into a very hierarchical, structured set of organisations that aren't used to that. They're going to have to grasp the nettle, and some of them are doing, but some of them are finding it very difficult and it's hurting them a bit. They've always had standards and regulation to rely on and have fitted everything around that. This technology, the cloud, NFV, SDN, network transformation, has turned everything completely upside down, and now the solutions are there, and you add the regulation and you add the standards later. How is that working out for the CSPs?
No, that's a great point, Martin. The standards aspects, it requires further detailed standards to be nailed down, and of course ETSI is very active in that and is moving along quite at a good pace in addressing some of the outstanding items in the standard side. But certainly, we think it's moving along just fine, and out of these early deployments will come learnings that can actually be fed back into the process to create, even further kind of aligned, so to speak, alignment between, interfaces to create, full-born, open approaches to NFV and SDN.
A last question to you, and this is the last interview of the day, so you're standing between me and beer, which is never a good thing, but just like to ask you about the concept of openness. We've discussed this before, and much of NFV's development has been predicated on the notion of openness, but then openness means different things to different people. How open is Genband in terms of the openness of what you're doing, and how does it fit in with other manufacturers and other vendor solutions?
Oh, we are absolutely taking an open approach. There's all kinds of open aspects to NFV and SDN, all the way from Open NFV to ONOS to Open vSwitch, and all the open initiatives that are really making a big change in how the vendor software is consumed and taken on. But at the end of the day, I think what the service providers do expect is those solutions that they do in fact integrate into their NFV cloud. They need a certain level of supportability, maintenance. If there are service level issues, they need to be able to go to certain vendors. So there are pros and cons with the open approach, so to speak. It creates for a great wide global community to add value to the solutions that are being put together. But on the other hand, service providers expect certain level of what we call a single throat to choke kind of a mindset, right? Where they would expect a single vendor to be able to address their issues.
So yes, they want somebody, I like the single throat to choke, but they want somebody they can get in contact with and say, this isn't working and you need to sort this out for me. Does the fact that you are in collaboration and you are open affect that?
Yes, it does in a way, because if we are open with interfaces that are kind of standardized, it makes it a bit easier for the service providers and the system integrators to address any potential issues that may come about.
I know I said I wouldn't ask you another question, but I did ask you two last questions there. A pleasure as usual. Sanjay Bhatia, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Martin. Appreciate it.